As a freelancer or small business owner, one of the key decisions you'll face is how to price your services. For example, should you charge by the hour or offer fixed project rates? The answer can be complicated, and it's important to consider the pros and cons of each approach before making a decision. Value-based pricing is a pricing model that focuses on the value your services bring to the client rather than the time and effort you put into them. With this approach, you set a price based on the perceived value that your services will provide to the client rather than calculating an hourly rate. Pros: allows you to differentiate yourself from competitors by emphasizing the value you bring to the table. This can result in higher fees, as an hourly rate does not limit you. Encourages clients to focus on the results they want to achieve rather than the time it takes to achieve them. Cons: it can be more challenging to calculate, as you need to assess your service's value to the client accurately. May be less predictable for clients, as they are not paying for a specific number of hours. It can be harder to budget for, as you don't have a clear sense of how long the project will take. Hourly pricing is a pricing model that charges clients based on the number of hours you work on their project. With this approach, you set an hourly rate and bill the client for the time you spend working on their project. Pros: it simplifies the billing process, as you can track your time accurately and charge accordingly. It can be more predictable for clients, as they know exactly how much they will pay for the time you spend on their project. It can be easier to budget for, as you have a clear sense of how long the project will take. Cons: encourages clients to focus on the time you spend on the project rather than the value you bring. This can result in lower fees, as your hourly rate limits you. When to charge hourly? Hourly pricing can be a good choice in many situations. When you are new to freelancing and don't have a clear sense of the value of your services. When you are working on a project that is difficult to scope in advance, and you need the flexibility to adjust your rates as needed. When you are working on a project that is likely to take a long time, and you want to be able to bill for the time you spend on it. For example, if you are a new freelance writer and are unsure how much your writing services are worth, consider charging an hourly rate. This will give you a sense of how much you can earn for your time and help you build a client base as you gain experience. Calculating an hourly price. If you decide to charge an hourly rate, it's essential to determine how much you should charge based on the value of your time and the costs of running your business. To calculate your hourly rate, follow these steps. Determine your target annual income, the amount you want to make in a year from your business. Calculate your annual expenses. This includes things like software subscriptions, utility bills, marketing, and other business expenses. Subtract your annual expenses from your yearly income target. This will give you a rough idea of how much you need to earn per hour to reach your financial goals. Divide your hourly rate by the number of billable hours you expect to work per year. This will give you a rough idea of how much you need to charge per hour to meet your financial goals. A possible scenario where hourly pricing would make sense. Imagine that you are a freelance web developer hired to work on a new e-commerce website for a small business. The business owner is still determining what they want the website to look like or what features it should have, and they are open to ideas and suggestions. In this case, hourly pricing might make sense because the project scope is unclear, and you may need to spend extra time working with the client to define the project and determine what they want. Charging an hourly rate would allow you to bill for the time you spend working on the project and will enable you to adjust your rates if the project takes longer than expected. When to charge a fixed project rate. Fixed project rates can be a good choice in a number of situations. When you have a clear sense of the value of your services and are confident in your pricing. When you are working on a project that can be scoped in advance, and you know exactly how much time and effort it will require. When you want to encourage clients to focus on the value you bring rather than the time you spend on the project. For example, suppose you are an experienced freelance designer with a strong portfolio and a clear sense of value. In that case, consider offering fixed project rates for your design services. This will allow you to set a price based on your service's value to the client rather than limiting yourself to an hourly rate. Tips for budgeting a project on a fixed price. Suppose you decide to charge a fixed project rate. In that case, it's important to budget your time and resources carefully to ensure that you can complete the project within the agreed upon time frame and budget. To budget a project on a fixed price, follow these steps. Define the project scope. This includes identifying the deliverables, the deadline, and specific requirements or constraints. Break the project down into smaller tasks. This will help you understand exactly what needs to be done and how long each task will take. Estimate the time required for each task. This will help you understand how long the project will likely take and how much it will cost. Determine your hourly rate. This will help calculate the project's total cost. Calculate the total cost of the project. Multiply your hourly rate by the number of hours you expect to work on the project to determine the total cost. Negotiate the final price with the client. Once you have a rough idea of the project's total cost, it's time to negotiate a final price with the client. Be prepared to justify your pricing and negotiate if necessary. In conclusion, there are pros and cons to both hourly pricing and fixed project rates, and the right choice will depend on your business, your clients, and the specific project you are working on. By understanding your value, researching the market, and carefully budgeting your time and resources, you can choose a pricing model that works best for you and your clients. A possible scenario where fixed pricing would be better than hourly pricing. Imagine you are a freelance graphic designer hired to design a new logo for a small business. The business owner has a clear idea of what they want the logo to look like, and they have provided detailed instructions and examples. In this case, fixed pricing might make sense because the project scope is clear, and you know exactly what needs to be done and how long it will take. In addition, charging a fixed project rate would allow you to set a price based on the value your services will provide to the client and encourage them to focus on the results you will deliver rather than the time you spend on the project.